The Clockmaker's Secret and the Boy Who Learned to Listen. In the small town of Willowbrook, where cobblestone streets curved like ribbons and flower boxes spilled colour from every window, there stood a tiny shop squeezed between a bakery and a bookstore. Above its wooden door hung a sign that read, "Tick and Tock Clock Shop." Inside that shop worked an old clockmaker named Mr. Alder, and every afternoon, pressed up against the shop window with wide, curious eyes, stood a 10-year-old boy named Milo. Milo loved many things. He loved asking questions. He loved taking things apart. He loved racing through life like it was a competition. But Milo did not love waiting. And clocks, as far as he was concerned, were all about waiting. The day everything stopped. One bright Tuesday morning, something strange happened in Willowbrook. The bakery clock froze at 9:17. The town hall clock stopped at 9:17. Even wristwatches across town ticked once, twice, and then went silent. Tick, tock, nothing. The entire town gathered in confusion. "How will we know when school starts?" the children asked. "How will I know when bread is ready?" cried Mrs. Peony from the bakery. Milo's eyes sparkled. "This is exciting," he whispered. "A mystery." Everyone hurried to the only person who might know what to do, Mr. Alder. The shop of 1,000 ticks, Milo followed the crowd into the clock shop for the first time. Inside, clocks covered every wall. Tall grandfather clocks, tiny silver pocket watches, cuckoo clocks with painted birds, round clocks, square clocks, golden clocks, wooden clocks, yet none of them were ticking. The silence felt heavy. Mr. Alder stood on a stool, peering into a large clock with careful eyes. "Mr. Alder," the mayor exclaimed, "all the clocks have stopped." "Yes," Mr. Alder said calmly, "I noticed." "Well," asked Milo impatiently, "can't you just wind them again?" Mr. Alder climbed down slowly and looked at Milo. "Time," he said gently, "cannot simply be wound. It must be understood." Milo frowned. "What does that even mean?" Mr. Alder smiled. "It means, my boy, that we must listen." Listening to silence. Mr. Alder handed Milo a small brass pocket watch. "Hold it," he said. Milo did. "Close your eyes." Milo groaned but obeyed. "What do you hear?" Mr. Alder asked. "Nothing," Milo replied. "Exactly," said Mr. Alder. "Sometimes silence tells us more than noise." Milo didn't like riddles. He liked answers. "But how do we fix it?" he demanded. Mr. Alder studied him for a moment. "If you truly wish to learn, come back after supper." The first lesson, patience. That evening, Milo rushed back, nearly tripping over his own feet. Mr. Alder placed a tiny gear in front of him. "This gear," he explained, "is smaller than your fingernail, but without it the entire clock fails." Milo leaned closer. "It's so tiny." "Yes," said Mr. Alder, "small things matter." He handed Milo a magnifying glass. "Find the crack." Milo squinted. He searched. He blinked. "I don't see anything." "Keep looking." After what felt like forever, which was actually only 3 minutes, Milo finally spotted it, a hairline crack. "There," he shouted. Mr. Alder nodded. "You found it because you slowed down." Milo felt a small flicker of pride. The second lesson, responsibility. The next day, Mr. Alder let Milo help repair the town hall clock. "You may hold the ladder steady," he instructed. "That's boring," Milo complained. "Let me fix the hands." Mr. Alder shook his head. "If the ladder falls, I fall." Milo swallowed. He stood very still. He realized something important. Even the person holding the ladder carries responsibility. When the clock began ticking again, the sound echoed proudly through the square. Tick, tock, tick, tock. People cheered. Milo grinned wider than ever. The third lesson. The race one afternoon. Milo challenged his best friend, Clara, to a race. Without clocks, no one knew how long it would take. They sprinted from the fountain to the oak tree. Milo pushed himself harder than ever and tripped. Clara stopped. She could have won, but instead, she helped him up. "You okay?" she asked. Milo nodded slowly. "You could have beaten me," Clara shrugged. "Winning isn't everything." That night, Milo told Mr. Alder what happened. Mr. Alder nodded thoughtfully. Time teaches us that moments matter more than victories. The secret of the stopped clock's days passed. Milo learned about springs, gears, pendulums, and balance wheels. Finally, he asked the question that had been bubbling inside him. Why did all the clocks stop? Mr. Alder sat beside him. Because the great tower clock in the hills stopped, Milo gasped. The one no one visits? Mr. Alder nodded. It keeps the rhythm for all the others. Then let's fix it, Milo exclaimed. Mr. Alder's eyes twinkled. That is why I have been teaching you. The climb to the tower. Early the next morning, they climbed the hill outside Willowbrook. The tower was tall and silent. Inside, dust floated like tea. Inside, dust floated like tiny stars in the sunlight. The pendulum hung frozen mid-swing. Milo's heart pounded. "What's wrong with it?" he whispered. Mr. Alder examined the mechanism. "The main spring is stuck." "Can we fix it?" Milo asked nervously. Mr. Alder looked at him. "You can," Milo blinked. "Me?" "You have patience, you understand small things, and you know responsibility." Milo swallowed his fear. He climbed carefully. He examined the spring. He moved slowly, very slowly. He adjusted the stuck piece with steady hands. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, tick. The pendulum swayed. Tock. It swung again. Tick, tock. The sound echoed down the tower and across the town. Below them, cheers erupted. The real secret. As they walked back down the hill, Milo felt taller somehow. "Mr. Alder," he said, "you could have fixed it yourself." "Yes," Mr. Alder agreed. "Then why teach me?" Mr. Alder smiled. "Because time is not just about seconds and minutes." He paused. "It is about growth." Milo thought about the cracked gear, the steady ladder. Clara, who stopped in mid-race. "Time teaches us who we are," Mr. Alder continued, "if we are willing to listen." Milo nodded. For the first time in his life, he didn't feel like rushing. He felt like learning. The new clockmaker, years later, Willowbrook still ticked peacefully. And inside the little shop, a new sign appeared. Tick and Tock Clock Shop, Master Clockmaker. Milo children often pressed their noses against the glass, and when they asked too many questions, Milo smiled gently and said, "Close your eyes, listen." Tick, tock. And in Willowbrook, time never stopped teaching those who were willing to learn. The end. Morals of the story. Patience helps us see what rushing hides. Small actions can have great importance. Responsibility builds trust and strength. Kindness matters more than winning. Growth takes time, but it is always worth it. Listening carefully leads to understanding.